Among the areas hit hard by the pandemic are the city's neighborhood business centers. One response is an emergency fund and crowdfunding campaign set up by the Boston Main Streets Foundation. To tell us about the effort and how it can help local businesses is the foundation's chair, Joel Sklar. Thank you very much for being with us, Joel.
Thanks for having me, Chris.
Joel, I know there are other efforts going on out there to help some of the businesses hit hard by the shutdown, but which kinds of businesses are you targeting here?
The real issue that we're focusing on is all those small businesses in the Main Streets districts in Boston, the 20 commercial districts throughout the city. And the businesses that that are on the front line serving the needs of the community day in and day out. They're the non-essential businesses. We all hear a lot about the restaurants that are struggling, and they're struggling mightily, but they are entitled to stay open and serve takeout and delivery, so they have some lifeline. And there are some funds that have already been set up for those restaurants. But we're focused on the small shops, the hardware stores, the nail salons, fitness studios, florists, all these independent retailers who are basically forced to shut down right now for the safety and health of the community. And they have no income. Many of them have already had, at this point, their income reduced by over 75%, or even 100% for many of them that are forced to shut down.
Well, I'm familiar with businesses in my part of the city. I almost take them for granted. When I go in, they seem to have plenty of customers. So it's almost hard to imagine them going out of business even after some hiatus. But what's it like for these people?
Well, it's a really difficult situation, in particular for the smallest of businesses, the sole proprietors and the small employers with under 5 or 10 employees. They are shut down. Many of these sole proprietors are not entitled to apply for unemployment because they're not employees, they're owners. And so they're struggling. And even though you do see these businesses, and the Main Streets districts generally have been very thriving districts in the city of Boston, supported by the community, but at times like this, they operate on very thin margins in the retail business generally. So these are sole proprietors who now have to let go of employees, have to shut down, and will be falling behind on their utilities, their rent, their other liabilities. And so what our goal is to get these businesses immediate cash relief, which they need to just stay afloat and to maintain their strength and stability, so that on the other side of this crisis, which we all hope happens as soon as possible, they will be able to reestablish themselves and grow and be back in business to serve the community. So that's the goal, is to help people just hang on to a lifeline in the interim so that they can come out of this and continue to meet the needs that they meet in the community.
Tell me about the goal in the campaign and what you would like to do with the money.
So the Boston Main Streets Foundation, which is the organization that I chair, works hand in hand with the City of Boston's Main Streets division to support all these 20 Main Streets districts. Normally, we provide them with grants and technical support to help them create farmers markets and community events, and support English as a second language programming for immigrant business owners, and provide all kinds of programming. Today, all of that is sort of irrelevant and is second to the immediate need to help these businesses stay afloat. So we've set up an initial $100,000 fund, which we are hoping to grow to at least $200,000 or more through a crowdfunding campaign. And a crowdfunding campaign is really done in partnership right now with a group called Patronicity, and they specialize in helping nonprofits provide funding for important causes. So we have been partnering with Patronicity for a number of years on our grant programs, and they have given us the opportunity at no cost to participate in this campaign and leverage up the assets. So anybody, any individual can go onto bostonmainstreets.org, which is our foundation website, at bostonmainstreets.org, and can donate any amount that people can afford to support the small businesses, anything from $10 or $15 to $1,000. We're set up to take any size donation, and all of this will be very helpful to the local businesses, and we will be turning around and giving grants of $1,000 to individual businesses to help them with immediate cash within the next week or two to help them stem the tide of this issue.
Patronicity works on placemaking. Some people might simplify that as a kind of commercial curb appeal, but isn't it something more important, almost like the human character of a neighborhood?
It really is. What we all talk about as placemaking is really community building. It's about getting people into the neighborhood commercial districts where people don't just go and shop. They meet, they get to know their neighbors. They go out to dine. There are events in the parks, there's farmers markets, concerts, all kinds of events that we and the Boston Main Streets District sponsor that Patronicity has helped us leverage over the last couple of years. And that's really, to me, it's all about building the heart and soul of the neighborhoods of the city of Boston. And the small businesses in these neighborhoods are a huge part of the economic backbone of our region. Just in the city of Boston, there are 40,000 small businesses that comprise 44% of the total employment of for-profit businesses in the city of Boston. They support 170,000 employees. So small business is not just a mom and pop on the corner. When collectively, it's an enormous part of our economy. And within the Main Streets districts alone, we have over 3,500 small businesses, mostly all local mom and pop businesses that are supporting the needs of the community.
One other thing I read into the Main Streets these days is that more than ever, they are woven into the increase in Boston's housing supply. Isn't that an important thing too?
Absolutely. As we see the housing supply expand, not just from the downtown, but into the neighborhoods and districts of the city, those Main Streets districts, we've been focused on helping them meet this growing demand and grow the local economy on a micro level in the commercial districts so that small businesses can take advantage of the great growth and economic boom times that we've been having in Boston over the last 10 years. It's really critical for that growth and that economic strength to filter out into the neighborhoods and the communities. And the Main Streets groups have been very focused on trying to make sure that small businesses and the local economies benefit from the greater economic growth in the city and the region.
And of course, we need more housing units for people who are not driving around in cars, right?
Absolutely. And the key to that is having them have the retail and restaurant and shopping facilities that they need right in their neighborhoods so they can ride the T, they can go for a stroll and meet their needs right in their neighborhood for as many of their daily needs as possible.
Joe, finally, we should mention how people can help out and if there's a deadline, because I do think you have a deadline, right?
Yeah, so people can go on to the bostonmainstreets.org website, and there's a very clear COVID emergency fund link right on there that will take them to the Patronicity website. And it's very simple to donate online with a credit card, any amount. And so we do have a deadline of April 16th for this campaign, but as soon as people can get out there and help support, we are getting the money out on the streets. This is a rolling fund where we are providing assistance as soon as possible because these are really critical and time-sensitive needs that the small businesses have, and we'd really like to get as much out to the community as we can as quickly as possible.